Florida.
Well, I mean, their lease at that new arena is till 2028, and now I guess the government wants to try to build a new arena downtown Fort Lauderdale, which is just to me absurd. They just got to start winning, man. I mean, and maybe it'll change things business wise if they get Panarin and Bobrovsky this summer. But this is an organization that has won a playoff round since 1996. You're gonna have nobody in the stands when that happens.
From Frozen Wookie, please discuss potential right shot UFA the Wild might target this summer with increased cap space availability.
Well, there's not a lot. I mean, there really is not. Like Panarin, but Panarin's more of a left wing actually, but he's a right shot. But I don't see how the Wild are. I mean, Mark Stone just got $9 million. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy I could see is Jordan Eberle. I could also see Joe Pavelski, although he plays a lot of center. I like Joe Pavelski. And he's got the same agent as Brad Hunt, and I hear he's not happy that San Jose hasn't signed him yet. But Pavelski's 33, so are you going to overpay him and get yourself in a position? He's not the greatest skater. There's Spezza, he's old. Eberle might be the guy, and I don't like Eberle as a player. I'm trying to look here. I'm calling it up right now. Who else? Right shot, right wings. I mean, Justin Williams, he's 36. And I don't think the Wild would like his celebrations after wins. Why I like fun. Wayne Simmons would be another guy. Again, represented by Zucker's agent. This is why you gotta. I mean, people don't realize you got to massage agents. You always got to be thinking about the next deal. And right now, there you go. It's like if you wanted Jordan, Wayne Simmons this summer, you've just pissed off his agents over the Zucker thing. So that stuff hurts eventually down the line. So there's not a lot. This is not a great free agent class, man. I mean, I'm looking at it. Even centers like Brock Nelson, there's obviously Matt Duchene, but again, the Wild are they've got Stahl, they got Koivu, they got Rask, and they got and they've got Eriksson Ek. Like, how could you even pursue Duchene unless you get rid of somebody? I'm not talking that. Obviously, Duchene would be the best of those bunch, but you need the spot to play him, So, not a lot out there. So I don't know what he's building the cap space for, unless it's going to be to try to make a big trade to go and get somebody. But again, where do you do that? You just traded all your tradable assets. Nino Coyle, Granlund, and Olmo Zucker. How are you going to get a great player anymore with unless you're trading picks and prospects?
Right.
So I'm not positive there's been a ton of foresight on these moves. So it really just seems like he just kind of makes spur of the moment moves. It's easy to say he's trying to build cap space for the summer, but then you look at the players and look at the roster spots that are already filled, and it's just not easy to see the plan that he's trying to make, that he's trying to, do. So.
Couple more Twitter questions. We'll be back next week with another show. We'll get to more of your Twitter questions. We do appreciate you sending them in. From Zeke Boyat, are the Wild going to try and sign any Russian free agents from the KHL in the next year or two to go along with Kaprizov?
That one would be conjecture. I do think that they're going to have to get him some friends here. One guy that is available, or at least a free agent this summer, that might be of interest, young, 26 years old, right shot, right wing, is Jonas Donskoy. I kind of like him.
From Noobs, if Parise is out for an extended period of time, is there any hope?
Not really. I'll be interested to see. This podcast will be out, but in 20 minutes they practice. I'll be interested to see if Zach practices today, because he could barely walk after the game the other night, and yesterday he went for X-rays. The way I understand it is he went for X-rays, and then after they saw the X-rays, they sent him for a CAT scan, which makes me think a CT scan, which makes me think that they saw something there. So, not good if he is hurt. And regardless, if even he's going to play, he's not going to be 100%. He's clearly injured.
From our friend General Soreness, Boudreau appears to be a dead man walking. Is there anything you can do to force Fenton to keep him on beyond this season?
Make the playoffs and go on a run. That's probably one way. It's not so much Fenton is Craig Leopold going to allow him to fire him because, again, he would have to eat the rest of the contract.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It feels like everything's set up for Boudreau to go, but I guess I hadn't thought too much about the Leopold factor.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's pretty. Sorry, I'm watching a scene. I'm scrolling through Twitter and I saw something funny. Funny GIF on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about two more Twitter questions? Nikolai, do you think Fenton moves a defenseman to get a quality right winger or center this offseason?
Maybe. I mean, it depends. I've got to think he's going to want Potato and Hunt back. And, obviously Prosser's a UFA, so he's going to leave. Stiller's still here. Top 4D. Brodeen's the one guy that maybe they look at moving. But again, I think that's dangerous because of, Suter's only aging and Potato is not the player that I think that they think he is. So, but yeah, I mean, that would be their rest of the assets that they have is either Spurgeon or Brodeen.
Last question. Once again, thanks to everybody. Please check out all the shows at talknorth.com. And thanks again to our producer, Brandon Morton. We'll be back next week from Codangles McFangles. I'm sure that's his real name. The pre-deadline cast of players was described as mentally weak by Russo in the past seasons. I'm not sure that I don't remember you using that exact phrase. Do you have any thoughts as to what caused this stigma?
Well, again, I don't know. I don't exactly know.
I don't think he used that exact phrase.
Yeah,
I think there was some question. I think there's always been question about, this team's, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the right phrase is. I don't think they've lacked competitiveness. They just haven't been good enough.
Yeah, they're just not good enough. Look, I have no issue with Fenton trading some of these core guys. We've seen how it ends. He can't obviously trade Parisi and Suter. He decided, not to trade Stahl. He smartly didn't touch their top 4D at the trade deadline, so that only leaves 4 others. I'm just shocked that he almost traded all 4.
Right.
I could only imagine what Chuck Fletcher's thinking in Philly.
I know.
They committed to this core forever, and in the span of 5 weeks, he almost got rid of all 4 of them. I mean, just think right now of the position that Bruce Boudreau is in. This team right now is without Ras, Dumba, and Koivu, and Coyle, Granlund, and Niederreiter, and he's told go make the playoffs. And he's sitting there like, my job is on the line and go make the playoffs. I got no right shot guys anymore. The one right shot guy I do have in Aberg shouldn't even be playing in any lineup in the league. It's JT Brown's the other right shot right wing who really just doesn't do anything in a game. I mean, this is crazy, this lineup right now. And yet they've somehow won 4 in a row. So let's see if they can continue. Last time the Wild were idle for a little while, they all of a sudden were a totally different team coming out of it. Let's see what they look like in Calgary. They got a home and home against Granny, coming up here against Nashville, and then go to Tampa. This is a huge 4-game stretch, and we'll see how they conduct themselves. We'll see if they're mentally weak.
Thanks to Michael for great stuff as always and great insights. You only get them from Michael. Thanks to our producer Brandon Morton. We'll talk to you next week.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world